So good morning. Welcome, everyone. It is a great day in Washington, D.C. I think I know most of you, particularly those of you who work for me. But for those of you who I may not know, I'm Peter Scheer. I chair the Mid-Atlantic region for JPMorgan Chase, and this is a place I have called home for now more than 40 years. I am thrilled to welcome those of you who haven't been here to the Bowen Building. This is our first regional headquarters ever. So thrilled that it's in the heart of Washington, D.C. Nearly 600 employees across all our lines of business, our corporate functions. I'm also thrilled we have community partners here today, people from the private sector, of course, government leaders like Mayor Bowser, who you'll hear from in just a minute, and I'm just thrilled to be with good friends in person and not have a mute button having to manage. Let me just give you, for those of you who may not know, a quick history of the Bowen Building, because in fact this building is 100 years old this year. It was built in 1922, and 10 years later was purchased by the International Union of Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, one of the big and important unions in this country. For those history buffs who may not know, this union goes back to 1865. It was formed right after the Civil War. The name Bowen was named William J. Bowen, who was the president of the union from 1904 to 1935, 31 years. I don't think they had term limits back in the day for presidents of unions. But most important, he was the guy who said that any international organization needs to have a headquarters in Washington, D.C. And he was right 100 years ago, and he's right now, because a century later, Washington is not only the most important and powerful city on the planet, but this is a region of enormous and immense opportunity and economics. This is now the third largest economic region in the United States. It's the seventh largest in the world, and it's a very important region for JPMorgan Chase. 4 years ago, the mayor stood with us when we announced that for the first time we would bring our branch network here, committing to 70 new branches in 5 years. I'm pleased to tell you that despite the challenges of the last couple of years, despite COVID, despite supply chains, we are ahead of schedule, and we will have those 70 branches built and open by the end of this year. My colleague Raquel Oden, who's here, you're gonna hear from in just a minute, and she has some more exciting news to share. We know, and we said it, Mayor, as you recall 4 years ago, that investing in this community, opening branches, expanding our business, means also investing in the parts of the community that too often are left aside and don't get the investment they need, or still struggling. And for us, it starts right here in Wards 7 and 8. Last year, the mayor was there again when we opened our first community center branch in Anacostia to help residents build a stronger financial future, which was our third branch in Wards 7 and 8. Very pleased with that. And of course, our work does not end any day because the challenges still persist. And for this to continue to be a city of opportunity, a region that is thriving, everyone has to have a chance to participate in the economy, no matter their neighborhood, no matter their race, no matter their background. So this is, for us, it's about creating opportunity in this region and working together with partners from across the community to do that, which is why I'm so thrilled. I do want to shout out I have a number of my colleagues here from the Greater Washington Partnership. Just as an example of what we have to do, just a few weeks ago, we announced that the businesses were coming together in this region with a $4.7 billion commitment to racial and economic equity. This is the type of thing that we have got to do to ensure that this community, this region, is an example. And one of the things we were so pleased about was at that day, the Vice President of the United States stood with us and said, this is a model for how you grow a region and how you create economic opportunity for more people. One of the most important elements of that is small business, and one of the programs we're most proud of is our Entrepreneurs of Color Fund, which supports entrepreneurs who want to get a chance to start a business in this region. For the foodies in this room, this is a very important public service announcement. We are very excited to have you all join us for lunch after the program, catered by 3 of our incredible EOCF partners. Flavor Chore, formerly known as Pinky's Eats, who we've known for some time, Sauce and Po' Boy Jim's. You can learn about their stories, but more important, enjoy their food. Just don't go into a food coma because it's very easy to do that. So again, I'm just really thrilled we are all together here today. And to make a very exciting announcement, please welcome my friend and colleague, Raquel Oden.
Well, good morning. So I get to do an official congratulations to Peter on opening this unbelievably beautiful facility to really represent what Mid-Atlantic stands for. And as you said, DC is critical to who we are as a company and very importantly to this country. So it's pretty amazing to be here to see this. You just heard from Peter share with you. My name's Raquel Oden. I lead for the Consumer Bank our network expansion, which really was a commitment we made 3 years ago that we would expand JPMorgan Chase across 25 states in 4 years, for which we started first. Our first branch that we opened in network expansion, guess where it was? Right here in DC. And there's a reason why you start here, because it's really critical to you think about what this really means to America as a whole. And so McPherson Square was our first branch that we opened, and you just heard from Peter the very important announcement that we are now close to 70 branches that we'll have built by the end of this year. And as we told everyone as we entered, that we were entering with intention. We were entering for long-term sustainability. And so as part of that announcement that he's sharing is our commitment to actually add more branches. And so as you think about, the importance of what this means, we're going to look to be at 140 branches by the end of 2025. So we're going to double our commitment to continue opening branches. I think when you think of us here at JPMorgan Chase, you clearly understand we are committed to branches. They are at the core of us being in the community. And the reasons why branches matter so much to us, because branches allow us to be proximate. And I always talk about the importance of that. You just heard Peter talk about the fact that we want to be the bank for all and access for all. But the only way you could do that is you have to actually be in the communities for which you serve. And our commitment there shows you not only what we want to do from the standpoint of being able to offer products and solutions and services, but as I was sharing with Mayor Bowser, the importance of commitment to financial literacy and financial health. And we want to make sure that as you enter into our branches, which we want this to be a community branch where you feel welcome to enter our branches. I know we could actually speak to, there's a long divide of brown and black people not feeling part of it and feeling trust for an organization that will be there and do right for them. But we are there to serve you. We are there to serve the community. And that is what the amazing part about being part of JPMorgan Chase and our branches is our branch teams. And one of the things that makes that most important is we are committed to hiring from the community. That's the first way you build trust with a community, because when you can find your own in the building, it really allows you to say, hey, I can actually comfortably walk in there and be able to not only get the support I need, but actually ask the questions of what I need to in order to focus on my personal wealth. What's also important about this is when you come to our branches, so, we think about it, we are the first bank to be in the 48 contiguous states. When I told you that we entered 25 states, which is part of my purview, the excitement of bringing the brand, but the excitement of what we're able to do with the local community. And I'm so wonderfully, wonderfully grateful for our community team that's part of our network expansion, because the way that we get to enter is we start with understanding what the community needs. And then we actually have the ability to build what is right for that community. And so that excites us every single day. And as part of that, not only we think about our commitment, but when you come to the four walls of our branches, every line of business is there for you. So whether that is owning a home, whether that's our small business support, whether that's for credit cards, whether that's for auto, whether that's for your wealth management investments, whether it is for you to have your first retail banking relationship, but also just focus on understanding how to be financially healthy. So what I always tell everybody, no matter which branch you walk into across our 4,700 branches across the 48 states, please ask, and you'll see every one of our bankers has something that's on their actual lapel that says, would you like a financial health checkup? And so when I tell you we are anchored in understanding the importance of financial literacy, I mean that. We could always do products and solutions, but what we want to do is build sustainability for all Americans to be part of understanding what it is to be financially healthy. And as one of those amazing things is we think about our support of small businesses. And I'm thinking here right now, Mr. Tyrone White, if you want to stand for me, please. So, Mr. Tyrone White, which I get to say thank you, CEO of MLK Deli. And why that is important is if I think about small business owners like yourself, you're the reason why we do what we do. And I think about what we're able to do, what you're doing here in Ward 7, and very importantly, your 4th opening of MLK Deli. And not only are you hiring from the community, you're hiring for those who are what we call re-entering. And I think what's important about that is you stand for what we stand for. And our ability to connect you and the opportunity to actually provide access to capital to allow you to continue to do what you do. And so we're so grateful you're here today, but we're so grateful for who you are, what you stand for, and what you've done for this community. So I just want to say a personal thank you to you. And as you can see, I can go on and on and on because it's just the beginning. We are always truly, truly committed for the long-term sustainability, but we really are committed to DC as a whole, to DMV, and what we're going to do is I just committed to you, we're going to be at 140 and there'll be more, but that's what we're sharing for 2025. So with that, I want to say a huge thank you on behalf of all of our branch team members who are here today, and I'll turn it back over to Peter.
Raquel, you can bring news like that anytime you want. Doubling our branch expense. That's amazing. You know, I think many of you know I have the great privilege, in addition to my responsibilities in this region, of serving on the firm-wide operating committee for JPMorgan Chase, and we spend a lot of time looking at investments and how we invest and where we invest. And I will tell you, one of the most critical factors that for us in terms of where we invest is the right leadership in place. Is it a place that we can partner with government leaders and business leaders? And I will tell you, I mentioned that when we announced our branch expansion 4 years ago, the mayor was there. When we opened our community center in Anacostia and the Skyline branch, the mayor was there. She's here today. Her leadership has been critical to our decision to continue to invest. She partners with us. She sees the role that business can play in creating economic opportunity. She pushes us a lot to make sure that we are really focused on small business and people who don't have the opportunities that so many others in this economy have had. And that's why we're so honored that she is here today, and she really is a reflection of this decision to expand and continue to invest in this community. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am really delighted to be here in this beautiful space and among your team to talk about Washington, D.C. and the very important role you'll play here. I had a great opportunity to walk around the building to see how you have very intentionally designed it to support your work, but also to respond to what employees want. And I just asked Peter, I said, like, why did you pick this design? Is there some research informing this? Because maybe we'll do it in DC government too. If that's what employees want, that's what we want to deliver. You have picked an outstanding building here. I was happy to hear the wonderful history and how carefully you have brought this building back to life. And when I learned that up to 600 employees will be here, that all lines of your business are represented here, it gives me a little sneak peek to what JPMorgan Chase might really think about Washington, D.C. Because a lot of people can be headquartered here, you know, just headquartered in Washington. HQ in Washington, D.C. And so we want that experience to be wonderful for you. It is true, we were here. Jamie Dimon was here 4 years ago. He was here with us at Skyland for the opening as well. Now, I understand he has an office here, another like good tidbit of information to know. And I understood directly from him and always from Peter how you want to grow in DC. Not just opening buildings, because four walls are great. We love it. But it's so much better when your impact can be felt in schools, in parks, in small businesses, and small business opportunities. And so we know that you have been doing that, and you have been very busy doing that since that announcement 4 years ago. We know that your work in the region aligns with the $30 billion commitment to advance racial equity and close the racial wealth gap, which we are also focused on in our city. In January, you made a $20 million 5-year investment towards 7 and 8, including specifically for a very fast-growing population of business owners. That's Latino women and African-American women. So we're very grateful for that. I also want to thank you for your support of our young people through mentorship and trainee programs. And I want to thank you for doubling your commitment to Washington, D.C. So it's also an important day for another reason. Our D.C. Bid Council is represented here. Hey, Bid Council, where are you? Give them a big wave. They work in our very important corridors across the city. They work with businesses. They're focused, like we are, on how to bring our commercial corridors back. And like you have figured out, and like DC government has figured out, how to bring workers back to the office. And we have all learned that being flexible, supporting our employees' needs, but also highlighting the collaboration that can only happen when we're together is what our businesses, our government, and our downtowns need. So I'm proud to say that DC is open. Right? DC is open. And I'm proud that JPMorgan Chase is a part of that. So in the weeks and months ahead, we're going to continue to work with our business community, our employees. I have a whole team focused on making sure you have fun when you leave the office. Maybe not at the office, or at the office too, but definitely when you leave the office. Our restaurants will be open. We'll have more festivals and our activities. Arts and entertainment in Washington is here for you, as well as easy ways to get around to and from work. So welcome to your new HQ. I guess you all have been figuring it out for a few weeks, but we're just delighted. I'm also in charge of venue operations for the city of Washington. What that means is I check out all of the new rooms that I like and want to have events at. I like this one. This one I like. So invite me back. Good to see you all.
You guys stay, eat, enjoy, and talk to each other, and we got to go outside for a quick ribbon cutting, and then we'll be back in. So thank you all again for being here.
All right, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3.